Badass Attitudes, licensed here, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The bus to Badassville is scheduled to come here for you. Pack your stuff. Turn up your energy with Wednesday Wisdom. Here again is Kelly Orchard.
Oh, I gotta say, it really does not get old getting to be called badass. Thank you, Mr. Ocean, for all of your ocean of talent. It's a great day. It's Wednesday Wisdom. I'm Kelly Orchard. Yes, I am the Badass Certifier. We're still covering the first S in Badass, which stands for Steadfastly Stay the Course. That's what we're doing for the whole month of June. Stay the course. That means to persevere and to be flexible. Also to be showing some gratitude for the things that are working out. Be nimble. Sometimes we've got to accept the pause. In the month of June, that's when it's summer and we branch out in the summertime. That's when you're starting to watch everything that you've been planting and growing in the springtime. You're seeing it grow and blossom. You can tell. I take morning walks. I love my morning walk. It is my favorite exercise to do these days. Primarily it's dancing. So I dance by myself or whoever will let me dance with them. But I also love my morning walks, and I can tell you it's like the blossoms are really coming out and it just changes your whole perspective. So that's part of what this is, accept the pause, but also be appreciating what is growing. That's what the S in Badass stands for, is stay the course no matter what kind of detours or obstacles you have that come into your life, because they all come. This is all about tools to be able to navigate the normal stuff that's always going to happen. Then we have tragedy or trauma on top of that. We've got new tools that we can implement, that we can use to navigate through that while we stay the course as we continue on our journey to being successfully licensed to be badass. Because I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, certifying badasses one podcast at a time. And for this Wednesday Wisdom, it is about skills and drills for certified badasses. Now, something I've been seeing posted on social media quite a bit lately, which I wanted to share it here, and I'm going to read it. It's a quote from Anthony Hopkins, the actor, the brilliant actor, Academy Award winning. I love him in I do love him in everything that I've seen him in. So I saw this on social media, and I just wanted to share it with you because it's so poignant. So I am quoting Anthony Hopkins. Let go of people who are not prepared to love you. This is the hardest thing you'll have to do in your life, and it will always be the most important thing. Stop having hard conversations with people who don't want to change. Stop showing up for people who have no interest in your presence. I know your instinct is to do everything to earn the appreciation of those around you, but it's a boost that steals your time, energy, mental, and physical health. When you begin to fight for a life with joy, interest, and commitment, not everyone will be ready to follow you in this place. This doesn't mean you need to change what you are. It means you should let go of the people who aren't ready to accompany you. If you're excluded, insulted, forgotten, or ignored by the people you give your time to, you don't do yourself a favor by continuing to offer your energy and your life. The truth is that you're not for everyone, and not everyone is for you. This is something I have to learn all the time too, by the way, badass. Continuing on with Anthony's quote. Now that makes it so special when you meet people who reciprocate love. You will know how precious you are. The more time you spend trying to make yourself loved by someone who is unable to, the more time you waste depriving yourself of the possibility of this connection to someone else. There are billions of people on this planet, and many of them will meet you at your level of interest and commitment. The more you stay involved with people who use you as a pillow, a background option, or a therapist for emotional healing, the longer you stay away from the community you want. Maybe if you stop showing up, you won't be wanted. Maybe if you stop trying, the relationship will end. Maybe if you stop texting, your phone will stay dark for weeks. That doesn't mean you ruined the relationship. It means the only thing holding it back was the energy that only you gave to keep it. That's not love, it's attachment. It's wanting to give a chance to those who don't deserve it. You deserve so much. These are the people, and there are people who should not be in your life. The most valuable thing you have in your life is your time and energy, and both are limited. When you give your time and energy, it will define your existence. When you realize this, you begin to understand why you're so anxious when you spend time with people in activities, places, and situations that don't suit you and shouldn't be around you. Your energy is stolen. You'll begin to realize that the most important thing you can do for yourself and for everyone around you is to protect your energy more fiercely than anything else. Make your life a safe haven in which only compatible people are allowed. You're not responsible for saving anyone. You're not responsible for convincing them to improve. It's not your work to exist for people and give your life to them. If you feel bad, if you feel compelled, you will be the root of all your troubles, fearing that they will not return the favors you just granted them. It's your obligation to realize that you are the love of your destiny and accept the love you deserve. Decide that you deserve true friendship, commitment, true and complete love with healthy and prosperous people. Then wait and see how much everything begins to change. Don't waste time with people who are not worth it. Change will give you the love, the esteem, happiness, and the protection you deserve. Now, oftentimes that is my message, right? But that was Anthony Hopkins. I saw that post on social media several times and I thought, well, why not use somebody else's words for a change? But it's true, isn't it? Even I have to continuously prune back some of the relationships or some of the attitudes and mindsets that don't work for me anymore. You know, the whole thing is I can't save everybody, but I did change my career path so that I could help people navigate with some new tools that I learned that helped me when my life was derailed. And I know that your life, if you're listening to this podcast, you're looking for some growth. You're looking for a new attitude. You're looking for something to shift in your life. And I'm grateful that I was able to find this Anthony Hopkins post. So you know, it's like, so what are you going to do about it? Some of the things you can do is to improve your knowledge of yourself. I got to tell you, it's like this move over to this new office has completely been a creative mindset shift for me. And that's why I say stay the course, because, you know, a year ago, I hadn't intended on moving my home office out of my home. I was very happy and content and productive right there at home. And I was leasing space where I could conduct my private psychotherapy sessions. Well, then COVID happened and my life too turned upside down. So not only was I still managing my private practice and everything had gone to phone sessions, I got busier, obviously, because there was more people that were seeking out some help. But also in the meantime, I moved my parents' home in with me, which means that my home office space now was different. And it took a while. I mean, I wasn't really anxious to get out of there, but once I've moved here, once I got this train on the track to make this move happen, knowing that I couldn't have my desk at the foot of my bed anymore. I mean, that's the reality. Everything, I was still productive. I was still working fine, but there wasn't really any kind of shift from the energy of work to the energy of rest. And I needed that to happen. I needed that mental shift gone out of my bedroom. And, you know, I got to tell you, it's like I have learned I am sleeping better because I'm not waking up in the middle of the night and looking over at my desk and thinking about all the projects that I want to work on. I mean, it wasn't really stress or pressure to feel. I don't work for anybody. So everything that I do is all of my own making. But I'm also realized that creatively, that's how I process, you know, experiences and emotions, and it always has been. And so that's what was happening with me. So I needed to have this mindset shift. And I'll tell you, it's like even just a new environment. I've got new people that I can interact with here at Michelle's place. Even the drive to the office is different. It takes me 20 minutes to get in, and I've had to shift my mindset about my morning routine, because one of the things that I've learned about myself now is how much I actually would do before I would even start my business day. So like before I would go to the office and do my psychotherapy sessions, I was doing other work at home. But now that particular computer, even though I have a laptop and I could still do it mobilely, some of the files are still on my big computer, which is now at my office, which is no longer at the foot of my bed. So I too am having to rearrange my morning schedule, and it's not a bad thing. That's what I wanted to bring up today, is that I have made some shifts. Change doesn't necessarily have to be bad when we can look at it as it's a new opportunity to grow. And now when I wake up in the morning, it's completely different for me. I'm doing something completely opposite of what I used to do. Instead of starting to work right away again, now I am just enjoying my slow morning. And yeah, occasionally I'll even be able to take time to have coffee with my mom instead of leaving for the office right away. And so I wanted just that some of these skills that you need to learn as you make a shift could also be just unlearning the bad behaviors or the old behaviors that you've been accustomed to. They may not necessarily be bad behaviors, but your mental health now more than ever has got to be managed. So if you're seeing and identifying events, places, people, things that are in your life right now that you want to set a boundary, you no longer want to let that in, okay, now that you've recognized it, you've acknowledged it, you're aware of it, let's make a change. It doesn't have to be hard, but it does take effort. And that's what this is all about. Skills and drills for certified badasses. You keep coming back to this badass podcast. Yes, you are badass. You keep coming back, and I'll keep giving you new tools to try. All right, so that's what we're working on. So this month, we're staying the course. That is the S in the BADASS acronym. Steadfastly stay the course, even when something might derail you. But also, it's like once you make the decision that you want to make some changes in your life, are there people or things, commitments that you've made that are actually draining your energy so that you're not able to actually be that flexible or nimble to stay the course, to keep going? So remember that. In the wise words of Anthony Hopkins, let go of the people who are not prepared to love you. Because once you begin to let your love for yourself actually be that, then the people who will love you will start to show up in your life. All right, so as we continue for this Wednesday wisdom, how can you do this? How can you shift your mindset, especially if you feel like you're in it all alone? Maybe you're listening to this podcast by yourself and you don't have anybody else who listens to it. First of all, share it. Share the podcast with people that you think needs a positive message, and you can roll back and listen to all of them, and you'll see that there is a theme and a pattern in all of my podcasts. But you need to decide how you wish to grow. And this is part of the drills. You could buy some books and read them. You could join some groups and go to them. You could take some classes. Now, when I say buy books, join groups, take classes, we're not talking about going back and get a college education. For the life of me, I would never, ever, ever want to take another math class in my life. But, somebody who loves coding, computers, they might love to take a math class. They might find math enjoyable. So I want to encourage you to take a class or join a group or something that is enjoyable, something that you would look forward to doing. So if you've always wanted to learn how to paint, then by all means, join a painting group or take a painting class. These are the things, something that you would enjoy doing. This is how you're going to make this mindset shift. It's not always about a career move. It could be about, I just would like to meet other people who have creative interests like me. See, I would consider, for me personally, joining a writer's group. I want to write novels. I don't want to write any more self-help books. I would like to write novels. So I'm considering, not even considering, I've thought about it, but then, we had a big shutdown, and now I'm kind of like, this is part of the Stay the Course. This was part of what my original plan was for me creatively, to get fueled, to get mentored, to get feedback on something that is a passion project. I want to join like a group of other authors who can give me feedback. So for you, what are you interested in? If it is a career move, if it is a career change, then what kind of skills do you need to pick up to do that particular job or be in that particular line of work? If there's some skills that you could pick up until you can get there, rather than looking at it and say, well, I can never do that because I don't have this, that, or the other skill sets. Okay, well, this is what I tell all of my clients. Let's go get some skills if that's really what you want to do. And I remember this when I was in grad school or finishing up grad school and I was an intern and we were still doing, supervised trainings. And the supervisor of this particular training was talking about her doctorate degree, which she had just completed. And I too had considered I would love to go after a PhD. It's more intrinsic for me personal. It's a personal accomplishment. It's not an ego-driven thing. It's just I'm a learner. I love to learn, and to have a goal at the end of that learning just sounds really awesome to me, and it's more about the subject matter. So, but when she was talking about how much time it took her to get her doctorate, it's like I remember saying, it's like, oh, 5 more years? Are you kidding me? And her response was, well, what else do you have to do? And I remember taking that to heart. 5 years, if I would have done it, I would have had this doctorate 5 years ago, or no, 8 years ago, right? So but the thing is that for me, what held me back, we talked about this last week about reducing your expectations. I really didn't want the additional loan debt. It wasn't about the work or the time. It was more about the financial aspect of it. So when you are considering these shifts that you're making to improve your life and stay the course when the detours or the derailments happen, you've got to get a fresh perspective. So it's okay to shift things up a little bit. Take a class, join a group, read a book. What's it going to be? Just add one little thing. That's it. Nothing more. So those are your drills for this Wednesday wisdom. So listen, I did just recently launch my Licensed to Be Badass digital program, because you know what, being badass doesn't happen overnight. It takes perpetual pruning and work. And so throughout my program, you learn small and persistent steps that will allow you to achieve your goals securely rather than attempt those fast-tracked results that never last long. I pulled together different psychotherapy methods from cognitive behavioral therapy, solution-focused therapy, narrative therapy, and strategic methods to build you a toolbox. You can go to my website, licensedtobebadass.com, and read all about it. And then if you want to sign up, well, the first things first, just snag your Badass Habits ebook. You can get started there. And then we can talk more about becoming licensed to be badass, because, for this podcast, I'm certifying badasses one podcast at a time, which that means you're certified. It's kind of like you take a CPR class. Well, you're certified in CPR. You could save a life, but that doesn't make you a licensed nurse. Right? So I can give you all the certification on being badass, but you have to go through an entire program so that you know all of the skills and all of the drills to go through the entire acronym to not only be badass, but be yourself, have a positive attitude, make decisions wisely, and stay determined and dedicated and disciplined. Always practice awareness with emotional intelligence and empathy, and steadfastly stay the course no matter what kind of obstacles and detours get in your way. And what happens with that? You are successfully badass. And if you just realize I just went through the whole acronym, you want to be part of this? All right, you can start out with my Badass Habits ebook. I'm Kelly Orchard, Badass Certifier. Thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday Wisdom. Give me a couple of days and I've got some Fruitful Friday for you, some apples a day and weekend vibes. And I don't know what we're going to do this weekend, but it's summer, so let's go have some fun. Come back on Friday. And Bobby, take it away.
Grab your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com. Friday again, we turn up the energy. Tune in and tune up. Be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.